What's going on, all you Boruto fans? Unpredictable 60 here, bringing you guys the next review on episode 3 of Boruto. Now, this was a pretty interesting episode as we saw the newly introduced Metal Lee, and I'm guessing he's one of Rock Lee's students, or maybe Rock Lee's kid. Who knows? I'm not too sure. If I had to guess, I'm gonna just call it his student for now because we're not really sure of the origins of Metal Lee. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say student because that's probably more likely than Lee actually getting with any female, because you know Lee wasn't really the most favorite person. Now, unless him and 1010 hit it off, I really don't know. A lot of the chemistry between characters really don't make sense, but for me, like I said, you know, a lot of different things don't make sense to me, but it might make sense to you guys because I did make a video about the romance between characters and how I didn't really agree with how characters got together. So yeah, that's one reason that I say that Lee probably just has another student. But jumping into the beginning of this episode, we see a mysterious being at the beginning. We're not too sure of who it is, and that will actually be revealed at the end, more toward me finishing this whole video, so you guys will finally know who it is. So yeah, we see a mysterious being at the beginning of this, and we're like, who might that be? What is that? Who, you know, got possessed? Or what is that, you know? Well, maybe it's a demon, maybe it's an enemy, who knows? But after we see the mysterious being, whoever that might be, we see Boruto's class actually getting to train with Shino with their shuriken throwing, and Boruto actually shows up and throws a demon wind shuriken, which belonged to another student, which he was not supposed to have that. And we actually see that Shikamaru's son and Ino's son and even Metal Lee are all good at throwing knives, but except whenever Metal Lee gets nervous, he doesn't perform very well, so we pretty much just see him pretty much just choke. And that happens a lot throughout this episode, and that's really one of the main things that happen throughout this whole thing. It's just focused on Metal Lee and how he gets nervous whenever it comes to him having to I guess perform in front of other people. He gets pretty much stage fright, and he ends up not performing as well as he could have, and he's always so worried about messing up, and he's just so dependent on, you know, what happens if I make this mistake? You know, I just have to get this perfect. And he's one of the hardest workers. He's just like Rock Lee, and he's just one of the hardest workers of their class because he does not possess ninjutsu. So I'm pretty sure Rock Lee gave him a chance to understand that, you know, you can be a really great shinobi, but you just really have to try hard being, you know, a taijutsu user. And it's just really interesting to see that maybe in the near future that Rock Lee will see some training going on between him and Metal Lee. So that would actually be a really good, I guess, back and forth between from teacher to student, really. Now, of course, what happens, like I mentioned, Boruto whips out a demon wind shuriken out of fucking nowhere and just basically chunks that thing at, well, really the sign, not really at Metal Lee. Metal Lee just happened to be standing in the way, and Metal Lee was like, you know what, I can pretty much handle something like this, so let me go ahead and kick this thing out of the way. And of course, at the same time, while he was trying to do so, he ended up choking, and that resulted in him being carried along with the demon wind shuriken. He actually managed to get his foot through the hole, and that actually carried him through the air, I guess you could say. It carried him through the air, and he pretty much got hit and smacked right into the logs they were throwing knives at, and it pretty much just resulted in him kind of being embarrassed. So he pretty much felt bad after that whole ordeal. You know, pretty much wanted to see them all in his office and had a little chat with them and said, you know, you all, this is a collective, you know, a collective fault here, so I'm gonna pretty much have to put all you on community service, and you gotta have to work after school and actually do some community work, pretty much repair the sign, or repair the stone face that Boruto messed up in the first episode. So we pretty much get to see that, and of course, you know, everyone's finishing, they're pretty much done doing their deal, and everyone's done their side, their fair share, and then they look at Rock Lee, or Metal Lee, and they're pretty much like, well, everybody's side's done except for his, so we're pretty much waiting on him. And of course, again, all eyes are on Metal Lee, so of course what happens, he gets nervous, he starts hammering a little bit too hard, and he ends up smashing the rock just like how it was in the first episode. And they're pretty much like, really, dude? So, you know, they're after that, they pretty much go on about their day. They're like, well, let's get something to eat since we're all, you know, pretty much done doing that. And pretty much they're walking and they're talking, and the next thing you know, Shikadaya is pretty much saying, he's pretty much criticizing Metal Lee at this point. He's like, you know, you're too honest with yourself, you know, you're too honest to be put at fault. You know, you need to really learn to just stop getting so nervous, because you work so hard, and you know, there's no point for you to work hard if you're going to get nervous whenever the time comes for you to, you know, show your hard work. And Metal Lee pretty much is like really just disappointed with himself, and pretty much just disappointed more because he's being told from other people he didn't realize were actually paying attention to that kind of thing for him. So he's basically like, really, was it that noticeable? And he was like, did you really not think it was? And he was just pretty much upset because of the whole incident that happened. And actually when they come back, Boruto realizes that there's something odd about Metal Lee. So the next day they get to school, Boruto, Shikadaya, and Inojin are all walking to school together, and Shikadaya is actually pretty much like, you know what, I need to apologize. He talked to his parents, he talked to Shikamaru, he talked to Tamari, and Shikamaru pretty much he didn't really tell him that he should go and apologize, but he just gave him advice, and it made Shikadaya think, and he was like, you know what, I need to go and apologize to Metal Lee for saying what I said. It's just not right what I said. I was too harsh on him, and I probably could have said that in a nicer way. So the next day, they're all walking, and they want to, Shikadaya is like, you know what, he sees Metal Lee, and he's like, hey, I need to go apologize to that dude. Before he can get close, Metal Lee's already he's on the attack. He's already trying to attack Shikadaya. Didn't even give him a chance to speak, really. And of course, they both go over the wall, and the next thing you know, Metal Lee's trying to fight them, and then Boruto and Inojin are right behind their trail. It took them long enough to get over the damn wall. I really didn't think the wall was too big. But it was just pretty much like they all three are back grouped up with Metal Lee, and they're just like, hey man, what's going on? Boruto, like I mentioned, noticed a mysterious aura around Metal Lee, and it was the same aura that was around, what's his name in the first episode? I cannot remember right now. It was around him, and he was pretty much like, it's just the same as when, the first time I had seen this. So, it was pretty interesting again to see Boruto, his eye is actually taking more of an effect, and it's actually playing a bigger role now. And he's actually able to notice chakra, not chakra points. So it's not exactly Byakugan. Again, it's probably a new ability, something that was not shown off. I don't really know the full ability of this new thing that's going on with Boruto's eye. I'm not too keen on that. Now, he did go home that day, and he asked Hinata, he asked his mom, he said, you have the, he stooped down a little bit to look into his sister Kimiwari's eyes, or Himiwaru. I am terrible at pronouncing names. Himiwaru. Oh my god. Anyway, he looked into his little sister's eyes, and he's like, just looking at it. He didn't say anything. He just looked at him. And then he asked his mom. He said, Mom, he's like, you have the Byakugan, right? And then she's like, yeah, me and your uncle Neji. Everyone from the Hyuga clan has that, but they possess that ability. And Boruto wouldn't go into any details. She was like, why? He wouldn't go into any details exactly as to why he asked, but he just wanted to know. And he just kept pushing more questions. So he's like, basically, so you can see this, this, and this. And she's like, she told him what she's able to see. She's like, well, you can see long distances. You can see chakra points. You can see, chakra anyway. And, he was like, I wonder what that chakra I was witnessing. And it pretty much was. That was basically an aura, I guess, chakra. And, I can't wait to figure out where that's coming from, because someone is probably around the village, and who knows who it could be. It's really just mysterious, and for all we know, it could be the guy at the beginning, and that's Kimiwaru or something like that, or Kimiwari or something like that. It could be him manipulating people. We don't know, but of course, that same aura that possessed his friend in the beginning of the first episode actually possessed Metal Lee, and it pretty much is just one of those things that you can't really get rid of unless you can hit the person hard enough or get them to snap out of it in some way. It's weird how it works. It's interesting though, but it's weird at the same time. So they basically have to deal with that, and they had to Boruto, Shikadaya, and Inojin had to team up and take care of Metal Lee before he really hurt somebody or even killed somebody. So they basically had to use a team strategy, and they got the better of Metal Lee. Metal Lee actually looked like he was about to unlock one of the gates, and before he could, he snapped loose of Shikadaya's jutsu, the Shadow Possession jutsu, and he tripped over himself and ended up smacking his face into a tree, and that actually snapped him out of the whole possession thing. So that was pretty much a said and done thing, and they pretty much was just like, you know, you really need to start training more. And he's like, well, y'all need to take school more seriously. So they all agreed that they should do more stuff, you know, and just basically contribute to themselves and to, you know, more to teamwork as well. So they basically were able to come to an understanding at the end. It was pretty much happy ending, and they were, Gene, Shikodaya, and Boruto were playing games as they normally would, and Metal Lee comes up and says, hey, I'm gonna report you three for wasting time, and you guys are just sitting up here, you know, goofing off. I'm telling you. And they were just like sweet talking him and saying, hey man, why don't you play this game? Why don't you try it out? He did so, ended up liking it, and they all were like, go ahead, you know, you're about to do it, team up, let's get this guy. And then of course he's like, when you guys tell me that, I get nervous, and before you know it, he breaks the game that they were all playing on. How unfortunate for Boruto. Now there's one thing I want to mention before I end this is, okay, so back at the dinner that Boruto, Hinata, and his sister were having, Naruto actually comes in for the first time that we've seen, and Naruto comes in and he's pretty much, he wants nothing to do with dinner, he just wants to go straight to bed. So it's pretty much just poses the question, has Naruto really done anything with his family? You know, at the beginning when Boruto was, you know, really young, Naruto trained him and, you know, spent time with the family and everything, but now that Naruto is Hokage, he seems like he doesn't have time to be around his family, and when he is at home, he's just straight to bed, don't talk to me, I'm going to sleep. And Boruto gets really upset. He's like, he didn't even bother to eat mom's dinner. She prepared this for us, for all of us, and he's like, he really just said, I'm not gonna eat. She prepared this just for him, and he just wants nothing to do with it. So what does that say about Naruto? Maybe he's not a good dad. Maybe that's why Boruto doesn't really care too much for Hokage, care too much for his dad Naruto. So that could be understandable. So that might be a reason. Naruto's not really being a family man like he's supposed to be. He's more worried about being Hokage, and apparently he's putting Hokage first over his family. You would think he'd be the other way around, but we all know he's nothing like Minato. Minato made time for both, so that was pretty much that. And that's just, personally, I feel Naruto should really contribute more to the family. I really want to see Naruto train his son more with fighting and how to use more jutsu and create more than 4 shadow clones. You know, Naruto's specialty is shadow clones, so teach your son how to be more shadow clones. God. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed this review, pretty much go ahead and subscribe, because there will be a lot more reviews and predictions coming your way for future episodes. And of course, as always, go ahead and show your support by giving this video a thumbs up, and going ahead and share this video with as many people as we can to get the word out there, get the information to most people who watch this, and that way we can actually grow the community more and actually communicate a lot easier. And of course, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below in the comment section. I love interacting with you guys, so go ahead and do that if you will. And on that note, this has been your broadcast. Unpredictable is out.